This is the Amp Hour Podcast, recorded November 14th, 2011. Episode 69, Quassating Quadcopter Quantophrenia.
Welcome to the Amp Hour. I'm Dave Jones from the EEV blog.
And I'm Chris Gamble from Chris Gamble's Analog Life.
I'm a bit pissed off this morning, Chris.
Oh, so normal Australian morning? Is that like
pretty much.
Get up, have a cup of coffee, swear at Americans, have a bowl of Cheerios.
No, but there was lots of swearing though. There was.
Oh, okay. What happened?
A ton of swearing. I went out to the lab and I closed the door behind me, as you do. Except
old lab, new lab. What are we doing?
Oh no, this is the garage. You know. Sorry,
the garage.
Yes. And foolishly, for some reason, my thumb was in the door jamb when I closed the door.
Oh, yeah, that'll start the day wrong.
There was more swearing than a drunken sailor, let me tell you.
Sagan learned some new words today, huh?
Yes.
Even though he's 3 rooms over and he's napping.
He heard him. Oh, boy.
Man. Yikes.
Oh, boy. So, being the professional that I am soldering on and doing the show.
You're soldering on? You're soldering what?
Soldering on.
Yeah, just cauterize that wound with a soldering iron and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Nothing you can't fix with a bit of solder.
There we go.
Yep. Oh, man. So, yeah,
that's rough.
I suddenly bleat out, son of a, then you know what it's about. So, anyway, I'm going to take my aggro out on someone or something, I'm sure, on today's show.
Oh, cool. I bet that'll be me. Because why not, right?
Yep. And, so that was my morning, and I just got back from putting the deposit check on my new lab.
Ooh, all right. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I thought it was already went through, though. So this is it, though.
Well, it's a lengthy, drawn-out process. I signed it yesterday, but that doesn't mean diddly squat. Now I've paid a deposit, and it still doesn't mean diddly squat, because I don't think the other people have signed it yet, and that's all. Yeah. I don't know. It'll probably take another month to move in. So
yeah. I'm going through my own stuff for a refinance, and so I've been the plumber and the electrician lately. I've been the painter. I've been the
So you have to actually do up your house to get a refinance. What's the
you don't
story
have to. I just am because I'm hoping to get. I hope they look at my house and be like, "Ooh, it's worth so much more than you paid for it."
Right.
The true American, and then I'll borrow against that money, and then
yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Get a triple mortgage. Come on,
There we go. Yeah.
Yep. That's the way. Man. That's the American way.
Yeah. I always wonder about that. Like, if I did have a lot of money in my house and I wanted to start like an electronics business, you always see that. It's like always so stereotypical, like in TV and everything. People, I leveraged the house and I started this business and I was all on the line. It's like, do people really do that much anymore? I'm sure it happens with small businesses, but I don't ever hear about it.
Because the smart ones are bootstrapping. Only the idiots go and borrow $200,000 or something and then go rent a place and pay, all that sort of, all that big business, open like a retail shop front and all that sort of stuff where the risks are just huge.
Yeah.
But smart people like engineers that listen to the Amp Hour, they know to bootstrap it. Start off small from your garage with zero overhead and never borrow money for a business. Rule number 1.
Yeah.
Guaranteed failure.
I think there are times to borrow money, but maybe not that. Maybe not that.
Possibly, but
maybe not a storefront or
no, that's just crazy.
Definitely calculation. That's the important thing is calculating it. Yeah.
Right.
Man.
Anyway, no. Once you're established, if you've got an established business and then you want to mortgage your house to borrow some more money because it's going well and the money's going to work, with 99% certainty, then it's a good risk. But no, I see it all the time. All these people, they borrow this money and they think that they have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to start a business, and it's just madness. Anyway, one of my pet
I wonder
peeves.
how many engineers end up starting business. I've never seen real statistics on that. I'm sure they're out there somewhere.
No idea. Yep.
But I think engineering mindsets are set for it, but I don't know. Maybe not.
I think the percentage of the garage engineer is high, though, compared to other other professions. I think the garage engineer is, quite
like
a
the garage
high
startup
percentage.
kind of stuff.
Yeah, yep. The garage startup in your spare time while you're still doing your full-time job. You burn the midnight hour, hence the term midnight engineer. You're a midnight engineer because you work at midnight, you have a day job, and that's what you do. So,
And you're tired.
yeah, exactly. Engineers don't need to sleep, do they?
No, I don't do it very often. I don't know about you,
Right.
but yeah. You have a kid, so obviously you don't.
Yeah, right. You'll learn, son.
No.
Anyway,
Whatever.
do we have shout-outs? No.
No shout-outs, but we have some
No
news.
shout-outs.
And
News? Go for
speaking
it.
of
Oh,
not
this
sleeping,
is lame. Come on.
this is not lame. This is
lame.
This is good. I
No.
like this. I like this a lot. So Eddie Hagler wrote in, and he just got his technician license, so congrats to him. He is now officially a ham.
Well done.
But basically, he was telling me how easy it is, and I still haven't gotten mine, obviously. I've been doing some other things, like I said.
Yep.
Slacking mostly and fixing up my
See,
house.
you haven't been burning the midnight oil. There's
No,
your
I
problem.
have been. It just, I've had into my elbows in
I
sewage.
know. You're up in all sorts of stuff, which we won't get into. Yeah.
Right. But he challenged me, and I like it. I like it.
Oh, you like a challenge,
Yes.
do
Yes, I do. So here's what we're gonna do. And
No,
Dave still has to agree with this,
no.
but we're gonna get him to
We're not.
capitulate
Here's
online
what was
today.
suggested, folks.
Oh, here's what's suggested. So basically, and I helped him along with the idea. Basically, he challenged me to get it by the first week or two in the new year. We haven't set an actual date yet, but for me to get my license, because he's saying that that's easy, and I'm saying that if I don't, what he suggested is that if I don't do it by a certain date, then I have to sing the Waltzing Matilda, which is some Aussie
It's
song.
a stupid Australian poem. Yeah.
It's a poem. Okay,
It's a
put
poem,
to music though, isn't it?
Oh, it often is, yes, but it is actually, but it started out as a poem. So,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
Banjo Patterson.
Okay.
Yep.
So that would be my punishment. I have to sing it or say it on the amp hour. If I do go through with it and I get my license, then I get a hearty congratulations and I move on my way with my call sign and I'm a ham. Yada yada yada. But
Up
I
until
was
that
thinking on
point,
the
I have no problem. Well, I still
Right,
do.
obviously,
because
it
nobody wants
doesn't-
to. Anyway, go on.
my idea was if I get 10 people to do it alongside with me, right? We've got maybe 2,500 listeners with the amp hour. If I get a couple of friends with me and we all get technician licenses together, 10 of us, and we prove it somehow, that Dave has to sing the U.S. national anthem on the amp hour.
Why would I agree to that? Why?
I don't know.
I just
Yeah,
don't
you really
care.
have no skin in the
if
game.
you want to go out and get your technician license, great, go do it. Not because I'm going to promise to sing the bloody
come on, because you want-
the national anthem.
Because it's a challenge that then you have some
I know. I don't care.
involvement.
No, sorry, stupid, lame. You see,
Yeah, I guess the
point
problem is you're not really
nobody
interested
wants-
in ham.
Nobody wants to hear either of us sing at all, right? So
Hey.
it's a lose-lose.
I have had some songs on here. One song I did that chonky product.
Oh,
thing
shocking
song.
product, right? Oh,
Yeah.
you think you're a bit of a goer, do you?
A goer?
A
I don't
goer.
know.
That's an Australian term. If you think you're pretty good.
No, no. I
Being
would
a
want to
muso
sing.
and all, right? Being in a
No,
band. You were in a band.
I was in a band, but no, I'm not a very good singer. But I'm saying I would do it in order to. I like the push behind this. I think it's good. I think we need to be advocates for ham because from the technical side of ham. There's the other side of it. I think there's people that are interested in the communications aspect and everything, but the electronics aspect, that's what's important, I think. And
Well, then
I need to
we
get
encourage it. There doesn't have to be some
I
silly
know.
contest. Give me a break, which nobody wants to see won in quote marks, because no one wants to listen to either of us. Just lame. Sorry.
Well,
By
I
all
like
means,
it. If
get
people
your 10
like
people
it,
together and.
if people like it, then we'll pressure the hell out of Dave, and maybe we get something. Maybe there's something he'll come up with on the other side of it. So
No, look, if you go through and get your ham license with Chris, we'll give you a shout out on the amp hour.
yeah, in musical form, Dave.
Nah, sorry. Moving on.
All right, moving on.
I've got
If
a
you
couple
like
of
it,
things
let
to be
us-
pissed off
let us
about.
know. You do. You got
I
some
got
other
at
stuff.
least 2 rant items on here.
Every time you add stuff, it's usually angry stuff to the list, Dave.
Yeah, especially this morning with this thumb is throbbing,
Well,
let
the
me
thumb.
tell you.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
man, it's stinging.
Yeah.
Whew. All right, suck it up. Yep. Anyway, if you've seen my latest video...
I have. I liked it.
Yes, I measured 1,000 resistors. Well, I measured 2,000 resistors. Actually, first 1,000 worked just fine. Then I uploaded the data with my Agilent U1272A multimeter. Let's name the bastard. Okay,
Yep.
and the first 1,000 worked fine. I tested my 1,000 at 1.5 seconds per resistor. I think that's pretty darn efficient, but we'll get onto that.
Yeah, I saw that.
So I loaded my first 1,000, no problems, uploaded to the PC. Measured my second 1,000, tried to upload them at fail. And yeah, the software just refuses to load in any more than the first couple of data points.
Yeah.
Bloody ridiculous. Anyway, I was pissed off, so I threw the meter on video and said a few things, and then I haven't looked at it again, but I'm going to eventually solve it. It was just late in the day. I wanted to finish my video, and then it just screws me around like that. I hate tools that don't work.
I know.
You know?
Should have done it. You should have done it like that. There was an article on Hackaday a couple days ago. Some guy added RS-232 to his multimeter. He just tapped in and did it himself. He did it on a $4 meter though. None of that. I don't know how much a 1272A is.
Yeah, it's about $350 or something.
Yeah, this was
all the
$4.
more reason to expect the damn thing to work.
Well, yeah.
Bloody hell! It's all this software shit. Never works.
It's free, right? Just
well, it
outsource
is.
right,
Well, it
Dave?
comes with a meter. Yeah, it is. Yeah, you don't actually have to pay. Well, you pay.
No, I mean software is free. Bits are free, right?
No, bits are free, right? Yeah, it doesn't actually cost you anything. Yeah, right. That's the big illusion, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like time
the
is
first
free.
couple hundred
you know?
bits are free, and then the to make those bits go in the right order, then it's a little more expensive to make it look good. Yeah.
Then it's a couple $100 an hour, right? Which is on our list somewhere down here, which we'll get to eventually.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
We won't
That's
segue
true.
into that now because I haven't finished ranting.
Oh, keep on going, buddy. Keep the train going.
Yeah. And the second one is someone has ripped me off. They have. My PCB tutorial.
That's
you know,
lost.
The PCB tutorial I've got out.
How did you find this?
Years.
How did you find this?
Somebody emailed me.
Searching for yourself?
No. Somebody emailed me and said, "Hey, do you realise this mob's ripping you off?"
That's the internet.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to name them. Okay, I haven't confirmed this with them yet. I haven't confirmed, but I do have a screenshot which shows that they have removed my copyright information from my PCB tutorial. You know, it's got a front page and it's got all my, my name and my web address and copyright and all that sort of stuff.
Like overlay like a smiley face over your face and then like
right. No,
vocode your voice.
They just blanked it out completely. No attribution.
Oh my God.
No copyright.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's the Tyne Metropolitan College in England. They're a technical college
Brits.
or something like that. Bloody Poms.
Yeah.
Yep. So not happy at all. I'm waiting for the guy. I don't actually have a copy of the document yet, but he sent me a screenshot. And
can you go back to this bloody palms? What does that mean? Is that some kind of cultural
bloody
slur
Poms.
that you shouldn't be saying
we
online?
actually call them Poms. The
It's like
English
an
are
okay thing
Poms.
to say online. Okay.
That's just what we call them. They, you know. Yeah, they're
I'm sure they have words for you
and
too.
if they do something stupid, they're bloody Poms, you know. Or if they beat us in cricket, then they're bloody Poms.
Boy, you Aussies are just so whimsical. You got names for everything.
Yeah, bloody oath. Yep.
Oh, boy.
Anyway, not happy with the Tyne Metropolitan College in England. God, is it too much to ask just to, like I actually stayed on there, this, free to copy for educational use, but that doesn't mean remove my copyright and my name and everything. Like attribution, it's all I want. It's not hard.
Seriously. People shouldn't want to take credit for what you do. I mean,
it's just
then they'll
stupid. I don't see the advantage
have to start
in
talking
it,
like
you
you.
know? Well, yeah. What, they don't want their students seeing where the document comes from? They want to think it's written by their illustrious instructor, Give me a break.
Oh, this is a written document? Okay. Oh, the PCB document. Okay. Oh, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah.
What did you think I was talking about?
This is your old one. I thought you were talking about some video.
Oh, no, sorry. No, this is the PDF.
Yeah, it's a good PDF. We should link people in. I think we've talked about that once before. But
Yeah,
we should
it's
link people
massively
into that.
popular. It's downloaded like 1 million times or something. It's crazy.
1 million times. Huh?
Yep. Anyway.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah, so there you go. They're my 2 rants for today. Not happy. Anyway,
I'm sure
I
you'll
wanted to
get
get
one
back
more
to the Agilent thing, the Agilent meter. Like, if you've seen my
Gotcha.
latest video, I made this sort of semi-automated jig, and I got it down to 1.5 seconds per resistor test time. I got it down from like 7 or 8 seconds or something down to 1.5 seconds. And I think you reach that threshold where you're sort of, if you try and tweak it anymore, it's very, there's a lot more work involved to get it down to a second, from like 1.5 seconds that I've got down on average, down to, say, a second or half a second is, orders of magnitude more work.
Returns.
Yeah, law of diminishing returns, yep. And, and everyone said, oh, why don't you just quickly lash up a little motor with, little cogs which drive the bandolier of the resistors along and then the probes can come down. It's like, well, the devil's in the detail, It took me like half an hour to build my little jig to,
Also,
do
Dave
this,
wanted to go eat lunch or something. So,
yeah, exactly. I didn't want to spend a couple of days building an
I have a
automated
sandwich
tweaking it.
waiting, and yeah.
Because if you've ever tried to build stuff, those automated type of test jigs, they're tricky. There's a lot of tweaking
I liked
involved,
your point
a lot
about
of
that.
tongue
You made
angle,
Yeah, you made a good point about how that is a big part. I mean, just being able to test your own stuff. I mean,
Yep.
If you're not, especially if you're not a big company with like incoming inspection and everything like that, you need to do that kind of thing. Or even if you're doing a product test, you need to be able to replicating tests is very important in order to have consistent results.
Yeah, and if the listeners haven't seen the video and don't know what we're talking about, I mentioned that it's very common in the electronics engineering business to have to build your own custom little jigs like this to do, not test 1,000 resistors, but, test a PCB or test, something else, characterize something, or it's a very common skill to have to build some sort of one-off automated jig for something. So I'm sure you've done it, Chris. Being in the test. Yeah, I've done it at, I think, every job I've ever worked at. So, I don't know whether or not it's just
common.
Yeah, it is very common in my experience.
Yeah,
so you get all these beginners. Oh, what is it like in the industry? What do you have to do? And this is one of the things you have to do. It's very common. So
especially in manufacturing situations too, where you have higher volumes. Yeah. That's a big thing. That was always what confused me. Like I've talked to people before who work at even just consumer type things, like someone I knew worked at a faucet plant, right? It's like, well, what the hell does an electrical engineer do there? Well, it's like, well, they need to be able to test something in the manufacture of that, and needs to be custom rigs, and you can outsource all that stuff. But
you can. That's common too, to outsource it. There's lots of companies which will build you a turnkey automated test jig, but. Yeah,
right, but then you have
if you
to
need
support
something,
it. Someone has to
sometimes you
support
just need something in a day. We need something by the end of the week. You just do it yourself. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, very common.
I was showing someone today. Have you ever seen a flying probe machine?
Oh yes, they're very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try and find a video of those. I was showing to someone to a young engineer today, and he was just like in shock about it. And really, it is shocking if you look at it. I mean, if people have never seen it, it's basically like you have two probes, like you're using a DMM or something like that.
Yeah,
and basically
really sharp, thin probes,
really
so
sharp.
They can get in access and.
Yeah, and like probably not 6 degrees of freedom, probably 3 or 4 degrees of freedom.
Yeah. Because the probes need to come down to the board at almost any angle. So either not just vertical, but at weird angles to
some on the
get
top
under
and there's some on the
components
bottom.
and avoid big standoff, high components and all that sort of stuff. So yeah. And
so you program in basically where you need to probe, and you can do that by using fiducials on the board and which is how they do pick and place stuff too. So you line up the board and then you say, well, probe 1 goes here, and you actually program it where it's supposed to go, and probe 2 goes here, and then I want to take a resistance measurement across that area, and then you can do the same thing somewhere else and measure voltage drop or whatever, and then you just speed it way the hell up, and it is so cool. It's just like,
I know.
It's amazing, and it really it's like a pretty good example of robots in the workplace, of how a robot is really, to be blunt, taking someone's job, whereas someone might have sat there testing, connections before. I think that's a good use of a robot, like in terms of removing that labor. But
it's an automated. One of these Flying Pros machines is an automated. Is a way to test is a generic jig to measure any board. Whereas the stuff we were talking about before, custom test jigs, you would have like a custom nail bed that you put a fixed PCB on, and it's only compatible with that PCB.
Right, and you were talking about
that can be faster.
probe pins.
Yeah, sometimes that can be faster than Flying Pro, because then you can put like 100 contacts all at once, and then you can test the board in one hit. So they,
you put it through relays and.
Well, but and if they're churning out mobile phones or something, that might be how they would do it. They would build a custom test jig. So, if you've ever opened a product and you see all these gold pads on the bottom of the board, that's designed for a custom test jig. They've actually laid out those boards and they've put all these test points on there, and then that board sits down on a pogo pin bed, a totally custom test bed, and then bang, it all tested in one hit. Bang, 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 bang. Yeah. So these Flying Pro machines are very common in assembly houses, so that they can test generic boards when they come out. So,
right, exactly. Yep. Exactly. It's interesting with those gold pads too. I've seen them too, where they actually, they might have a JTAG header for programming, but then they'll actually have a different set of gold pins, and then they actually plug in pogo pins to that thing, and then they program through that, and then they basically like make it into a slave board at that point, and you can just control the whole JTAG chain and program things and access different pins and check out different pin configurations and cool stuff.
And the test electronics behind these Flying Pro machines is quite advanced, because not only can they do things like do JTAG programming and stuff, but they can test for shorts, they can measure capacitance, they can measure insulation resistance, they can measure, or they can apply voltage, they can do all sorts of things. It's they're really quite fascinating machines. They're great. Yeah.
I've never been in have you ever been in like a super high volume manufacturing? I've never really seen super high volume.
By the millions, but I've designed many custom jigs for production. Probably the highest volume I've been involved in was we did 300,000 boards.
That's pretty big,
little preamp boards. So we designed this custom hydraulic machine, like all the boards sat in these little chutes. So you actually load them up like ammo.
Cool. Yeah, like a cartridge.
Ammo sort of like a cartridge. So you load all the boards in the cartridge, then you slot the cartridge into the machine. It was all fully custom built just to test these 300,000 boards. And
wow.
And then, the hydraulics would push the board along a little sled and it would put it under the pogo pins, and then the hydraulics would pull the pogo pins down, run the test, all the automated, it was all PC driven. And then once that's done, it would lift up, and then either if it passed, it would shove it into the pass bin. If it failed, it would put it into the failed bin, So,
that's cool.
That was a huge machine, a lot of complexity involved in that, but it was worth it in the end. So,
yeah. Cool. That's too, and that's kind of the downside. I mean, like, I worked in a couple manufacturing situations now, and that's kind of what's going away with manufacturing going away, at least away from the U.S. and I'm sure from Australia too. I mean, that's kind of there's a lot of issues in manufacturing too. Like you got to chase down a lot of bogus problems and deal with a lot of silly things. But that's kind of the stuff that you miss out on. There's actually an article in here from EE Times about China looking to move to R&D more, and it's interesting, and they're going to have the same thing. They're going to lose some of that similar expertise that they've been building up over the past 20, 30 years if they start moving into a more knowledge economy and stuff. It's just
right.
It just kind of moves around.
I don't see that happening much. That's been talked about for ages, and
eventually someone's got to build this stuff, right? I mean,
that's right.
I think I think it ends up being like a lot of politicians see knowledge economies being like these high
value
economies.
added. Yeah. Yeah.
But eventually, someone's got to make this stuff. And
I know.
personally, I think that high-tech manufacturing, I think that's a great thing. But I think it's more of a politics game there when they say that kind of stuff. I think eventually the realities are it's going to go over the labor is worthwhile. But
and then it raises the question: can they do both? Can they have both? Be a major power in both kind of areas? I don't see it happening much. It's going to happen a little bit, but no, I see them still as the manufacturing thing because their whole culture seems to be built around that. It's it just whereas the US, for example, is the opposite. So
and India too. I mean, India's having troubles with it too. There's another article
they are
about India. Basically, something like they're predicting $400 billion in electronics imports in the next 10 years. In 10 years, their electronics import number will be $400 billion a year. Which is more than their oil imports will be.
Well, see, I
think
so India have a much better chance of being the smart, actually R&D type centre than China does, because India doesn't really have the manufacturing hub there. In our industry, anyway, they don't really have it. So there's no very few component manufacturing type infrastructure
that's
there
true.
and things
That's
like
true.
that. So.
It's tough too when you look
I
at
don't
these
see it.
big macro things too. Like India is a huge country, right? And China is a huge country. It's billions of people, and it's like, well, if you say electronics is going to cure one country's woes, you're kidding yourself. It's just some part of a huge picture. But it's funny, India, because now China's talking about getting rid of it, and India says we want it, and then the U.S. always says, oh, well, we want it, but then the business says we don't.
U.S. want both. U.S. want their manufacturing back,
Yeah.
So.
And Australia says, well, whatever,
Yeah, Australia says, well, we pissed that away long ago. Yeah, we've sold our soul to the Chinese, long time ago. They own all our resources now.
That's
Yep. Sad.
It's reality, I guess, for now. But
your illustrious leader is here this week.
Is he really?
Here in Australia, yes. He flew into Canberra or somewhere. Cool. Canberra is our state capital. Is our capital.
I didn't know that. I don't know much Aussie geography, so.
Right. Well, it's halfway. Canberra, right, back in the early day, they said, well, where could our capital be? Where do we want to shove all of our politicians and have the capital? And everyone went Sydney, and the other half went Melbourne. And being Australia, we went, right, we're putting it in the frickin' centre. None of this arguing shit. So Canberra, which was a dust bowl on a map somewhere, they chose Canberra. Right, we're going to put it in the middle. That settles the argument. So there's our capital in Canberra. So Canberra's full of politicians. So you can imagine the jokes.
Oh yeah.
Sorry to any listeners who do actually live in Canberra, which is actually quite a nice place. I do enjoy going to Canberra.
Or any listeners who are politicians, in which case...
bugger off, yeah.
Yeah, go away.
Fix shit. Yeah. Oh, boy. Yeah. Anyway, so yes, he's here. And, of course, he wants to increase his global... Here's another rant. US rant. Get your bingo sheets ready. Sorry.
No, US rant.
Yeah. Obama's going to Darwin, which is the north end of Australia here. And he was making a big announcement. But everyone knows what the big announcement is. Big defence announcement. They're going to put more troops here. They're going to base more troops in Australia. As if their global empire of troops wasn't big enough already. And pissing off enough people.
Dave.
No.
Easy,
so they want
Dave.
Because they want to intimidate the Chinese, you see. So they want a bigger presence in the Asia-Pacific region. So they're going to base more Marines here. Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Piss off, Yanks. Just take all your imperialistic world domination shit and just, take it home.
Dave.
Thank you very much.
So insecure.
Yep.
It's interesting I think it's interesting from a world viewpoint. I mean, like 7 billion people, right? We just crossed that mark. And yet, obviously I'm talking to you. That's kind of crazy. I know people in China, I know people in India, I know people, in Korea, I know people all over the world, Germany, England. It's insane. And it's obviously very electronic centric, but
and they all don't like Americans, right?
Oh, come on.
Sorry, I had to get that in.
Yeah,
No, we actually love Americans. We just hate American government and their policies. Yeah.
Well, don't worry about that. Let's worry about electronics.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm sure we've got some electronics on today's show.
Yeah, we do.
Well, speaking about China, Shanghai, they want to.
Yeah.
Here's you can't blame them for not actually grabbing the ball and actually running with it. They want the Shanghai government want 100 hackerspaces in Shanghai.
Yeah.
I would actually presume it's in the Shanghai region, right? Because it's the Shanghai government. I guess the local government, right? I'm not sure how it all works there, but yeah.
It was the technology community of Shanghai, and this was a story from Slashdot that we found through Dale Doherty from Make. So,
yeah.
But yeah,
so
funding
what would they be
and
sponsored by? How's it going to work? Are they putting up money, or are they?
Yeah, they're putting up money in space, and
wow.
And it'd be community managed, and
yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't really say how much.
And then handling all the legal crap behind it, because half the problem of setting up a hackerspace is, all the legal issues. Whereas I guess in a country like China, the government says it's done and it's done, right? End of story.
Yeah.
They're very efficient in that way. So, yeah.
That's good though. I mean,
it's great. They're certainly taking the bull by the horns and saying, right, we love this hackerspace idea. We're going to make 100 of them within Shanghai.
Yeah, especially if they're all.
Crap.
Shanghai's pretty big, so it's
I've been there.
More than 10 million at least. And, I think it's one of those like mega cities that they talk about. Yeah,
it is. Wow, that's just awesome. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
I can't see other companies. I can't see other countries getting doing it to that extent. It's hard enough to get one local council to sort of understand the idea of a hackerspace, let alone go, right, we're going to build 100 of them, and then actually do it. It'd never happen here. Never.
Well, and I mean, it's yet to be seen if there will actually be uptake and interest in it. I mean, it seems
that's a separate point, right? But the fact is that the government want to do it. That alone is the news, really, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And putting up money in space. Wow, geez, we'd be happy to have one
start
here in Sydney where some local council or state government actually sponsored, or, even recognise the fact that we might need something like that.
Yeah, well, maybe it's time to start asking, maybe
the
that's the thing.
guys in
Maybe
Melbourne have been asking for 4 years and they've gotten nowhere almost. So, yeah. It's a shame.
Yeah, there's another interesting article from Ian over at Dangerous Prototypes about China and the potential for open source hardware in China. And actually, this wasn't from Ian. This is from DP over there. But it seems like there's a lot of interest, and it seems like open source hardware could have some legs over there. Obviously, Seed Studio's already over there, so that's someone that Dangerous Prototype works with. They're the ones who do the DSO Nano and a lot of really good open source hardware projects. So that's a good sign between that and hackerspaces. I mean, it's interesting when you start. It's such an open. Usually, hackerspaces are such an open idea, but you don't hear a lot of mention of China usually, and bringing that many more people in is really a good idea, I think. So,
Oh, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Cool. I started work on my quadcopter.
You did? Oh, how's that going?
Yeah. Roger's a mate of mine, we're doing this together. We're building this thing, and we're gonna.
And so you're doing it for canyon exploration, that kind of thing?
It's going to be the world's first canyon navigating quadcopter. So,
the first quadcopter to splash down spectacularly inside a canyon.
Correct. So I bounce off the walls and do all sorts of other fun stuff. And we got our kit and we started building it on Sunday. Yeah, we spent a good lot of the day building it, and it was quite interesting. The kit itself, we were quite impressed by the instructions and just the way it was, supplied, and everything was individually bagged and numbered, and it all went together quite well. We were quite impressed by that. But as I was doing it, I couldn't help but think, my engineering brain goes, what did they design it like that for? That looks like, not an ideal way to do it, and all that sort of stuff. I don't know, I could be talking out my ass, but, they're using fiberglass, like very thin FR4 material to hold as the base plate to hold the arms on that take all this flexion, that take all this flexion force from the motors, and it's like there were quite a few things on there. I just scratching my head, going, well, that's the last thing I would have chosen to.
So is it an open design? I mean, could you feed that back?
No, we can change it. Yeah, this is just Anyway, I'm sure it works, and it'll fly. But we fully expect this thing to be totally different by the time we actually, finish with it. It'll be
especially after you break it a couple times.
Oh yeah, it'll be totally custom. But we just wanted to get a kit, so it actually got us off the ground, and we can do some experimentation and then work from there. So
nice.
That was the idea. So it's coming together.
And how far along? I mean, you got this motor spinning yet? You got the?
No, we haven't, because we don't have the battery or the transmitter and / receiver yet. They're still in the mail.
Gotcha.
Which is another thing I wanted to talk about. I got them from a company called Hobbykingcom. They apparently own the online hobby remote control business. Apparently, their prices are so cheap. They practically own it. They world domination and all that sort of thing. And it all comes from Hong Kong. And although they do have a warehouse here in Australia, but they didn't have stock of anything I wanted, so it's got to come from Hong Kong. Anyway, I thought the shopping cart was rather clever. I found myself being sucked in to their marketing. I couldn't help it. It's so enticing. What it is when you check out, you have to pay postage based on weight. Right, so if you're ordering 5 kilos worth of stuff, and your shopping cart only contains 4,100 grams of stuff, then it tells you oh look, you've still got 900 grams left, and then there's a link to tell you, well, here's all the items that you can buy that are under 900 grams. So it
and by the way, you have
$34
left in your bank account.
Exactly, and it really, you find yourself being, oh wow, I've got to use up that extra 50 grams packing.
Really playing on the human emotion,
psyche
there.
And emotion.
Oh yeah,
getting something for free.
And a exactly, the engineer cheapskate mindset.
Because you always want to get something on. It's like if you order from DigiKey. I'm paying my $30 postage. I'll throw on a bunch more stuff, even though you don't need it. Because you think you're getting value because you're sending more things at once, and you do get sucked into it. It's very enticing. Anyway, I thought it was very clever, and I liked it. I'm sure there's other websites like that, but that's the first. I think that's the first online website I've done where it actually shows you the products that will fit, just the products that will fit within your remaining weight limit.
That's pretty cool.
And
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
And then if you're buying a battery, it tells you, it knows you're buying that battery, so it knows you may want some matching connectors and stuff like that. So it pops up and tells you, you may need these. And sure enough, I did. Oh, I didn't think of that.
Well,
Thanks, bang. You suck some more money out of me. So, yeah, clever. Very clever.
That's interesting. So what... Like, it's already it's Arduino controlled and everything, right? I mean,
it's Arduino controlled, yep.
Okay. That's interesting. It's from because it's going to be a control loop then too, right? I mean, there's input back into the Arduino.
Yes. There's a tilt sensor, which the Arduino handles. It reads the tilt sensor, and then that's what stabilizes the quadcopter. And
is there any filtering?
I'm sure there's digital filtering and stuff like that.
Okay.
But, I don't know the ins and outs of it, but normally you could not fly one of these quadcopters. If you had to do it manually, you wouldn't be able to do it. A human couldn't actually respond fast enough to compensate for, these things are inherently unstable, and it actually requires a control algorithm and, software to keep it stable. So, yep. Okay. There are also there are planes like that now. Some of these planes, some of these, one of these where the wings are swept forward on some of these jets, these experimental jet fighters and stuff, they are unflyable. You can't fly them. They need software to be stable. So, Yeah.
So
scary.
For the big ones, that's a real reliability thing. That's interesting.
Yep.
I've been working on control loops lately, like analog control loops in a circuit.
Right.
Have you ever done any of that kind of stuff?
Not hugely, no. I'm not really into... I've never had a need to do that sort of thing. I'm not a big control theory person, you know.
I'm not a big control theory person either. I'm just trying to fix a problem, but...
right,
man,
yep.
that is just like one of the most frustrating things ever, you know? It's just like an amplifier, and then there's, feedback, and the feedback is into a summing node.
But then trying to get it to do what you want, trying to tame the beast is...
Not even tame it, just figure out where the hell the problem is. That's the thing I keep running into, Yep. So
Yep.
I'll be like probing, right? I'll have like a DMM, and I started the DAC, right? That's a good place to start, this DAC input. And I started the DAC, and okay, DAC looks fine, whatever. And go into this, error amp looks fine. Then, here's a problem. I have this fault condition, and I find the problem. And then I'm like, here it is. Then I move next down the line, and there it is too. Next down the line, there it is too. It's in the goddamn. It's everywhere. It's really frustrating. I mean,
you're chasing your tail all day.
Oh, like the worst example is like, so this is a big control loop, right? And there's op amps in it and everything, and I look at the input of an op amp, and it's a buffer configuration, right? So the input of an op amp is like 1 volt or whatever it is. And then I look on the other input, the non-inverting input where the feedback is, or the inverting input where the feedback is, and it's like 1.2. And I'm like, there it is. It's like not right. It's not right. And then I realize that it's not that op amp's broken, right? I think that op amp's broken at first, but no, it's actually somewhere else in the circuit. It's just not responding how it should be. Oh man, I'm losing sleep over this.
It's tiring. Yeah. To even think about it, let alone to have to troubleshoot that sort of... Some people really enjoy control system theory.
The theory is a whole
really
different
get
thing.
off
Like Bodie plots and phase margin, all that other junk. Yeah, and it's an important thing to know. I mean, it's a good thing to know. Can't say I'm very strong in it. I mean, like I said, I'm more troubleshooting side of things, but man, it's crazy.
Sorry, I lost you there for a second.
Oh, dropping out? It's raining like crazy here.
Well, that must be it,
Yeah, hopefully we don't lose the transmission, but there is a chance I might go black, and then Dave has to take over, and you'll have to listen to him rant about the U.S. the rest of the time.
Awesome.
Yeah, just go.
Oh, boy. Speaking of math and all that sort of stuff, there was a thing on the forum last night. I saw that, somebody said, electronics should be taught as a heavy math subject. And, no. I think you'll be struggling to find people to agree with you there, because a good majority of electronics, you can do a hell of a lot with some very simple math only.
Yeah.
As I've always said, I've always said to these graduates, they always ask, am I ever going to use these integrals that I learnt and all this sort of stuff? And I go, well, in 25 years, 30 years, I've never used an integral. I've never had to solve an integral. I have to know the concept, but I've never actually had to solve an integral like you do in Math 101
Right, and you have to know it. I mean, you have to know how it works.
Triple integrals and everything else. And but concepts and stuff are important. The concept of an integral and that sort of stuff is important, but not actually
area
solving
under the curve
math.
How waveforms change. That's a big one, right? Like how a square wave looks different, and when you integrate it. And
but the actual math itself. No, I rarely have to use anything more than Ohm's law and a couple of other basic, formulas. Really. All these people out there learning all this heavy math in their engineering course will be very surprised that in general electronics design, not all electronics design, some people use integrals every day. They have to solve them.
Yeah. Some people are doing high level simulations and other stuff, and but I don't even
control system or really advanced control systems theory and God knows what, but.
Right, but I think at a certain point you get to it. Like if you're doing that kind of stuff, you're throwing it into MATLAB. You're doing it numerically instead of like symbolically.
Yeah.
Or if you are doing it symbolically, there's Mathematica, which is a crazy program. Yeah. Oh my God, it's a crazy program.
So tell us what do you do in your everyday job? Let us know. Do you when was the last time you used heavy math in some aspect of your
Yeah,
electronics profession.
There's probably like 10 equations that people use over and over again whenever I'm talking to them in my experiences. You know, like L didt, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that
like,
kind of basic
and that's,
stuff.
That's
and,
more like physical stuff. That's physics.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And but it's good stuff to know, and then you then you hack the rest. I mean, not necessarily.
Exactly. That's
you
right.
figure it out. You know, you just do it.
Yeah. It's all. Exactly. It's all rules of thumb. Electronics is all. You know, it's mostly rules of thumb. And you can do a hell of a lot. Yeah.
Right. And it's interesting too. There's Paul Rako from EDN wrote about, you know, he's written a lot about Jim Williams since he passed away, and he scanned in this article from 1987, and it's really great about how he taught and just about like everything that, you know, like he was very hands on. Obviously, Jim Williams was, but my favorite part was about equations too, and he says. I'm sure Einstein was able to look up anything in the library while he was looking up his theory of relativity, which is true. Yeah. I mean, like, he didn't need to memorize everything because he could look it up. And it's more about it's not about the stuff that you memorize and need to be able to regurgitate. Yep. It's taking that and bending it and recognizing it. And that's really where it's, if you're good at that stuff, then you're a friggin' magician. You know, you're Harry Houdini with equations.
That's why I hate job interviews, where I've been at a couple of job interviews where they'll ask you to, you know, actually solve stuff like that on paper, and it's going, geez, dude, I haven't done that for 20 years. Like, as if I remember how to do that. And then they think, oh, well, you failed because you don't remember how to, all these formulas. Well, God, no, I haven't used them for 20 years. Why do I have to remember them? They're in a book that's right next to me. I can just look it up.
They're in Wikipedia.
You know, It's like, I hate people who do that.
That'd be really funny if at the end of the interview you pull out a question for him. You know, like, you're like, oh, well, I need you to solve this problem. Yeah. At the end of a really bad interview. Yeah.
Yep. And you just don't want the job anyway. Yeah, you really have fun with it. Yep.
Yeah. I interviewed someone recently, and they brought in a circuit board. I was thinking about you, Dave. I was thinking about your.
Excellent.
I'm not sure if he's a fan of yours or if he's just a bright kid, but he definitely
fantastic. That's my number one.
Yeah, that's a great
thing
tip.
To
I
tell
love that
people.
tip.
Bring your own stuff to the interview. Yeah.
It was actually pretty recently, and you know he was like just rude.
What happened?
Oh, it went great.
Ask him about it. Was it cool? What sort of board was it?
About the boards. The boards themselves were great. I mean, I was more excited about. I was just going to point out that I love talking to people who are excited about electronics, like just trying to capture that feeling. You know, it's kind of like talking to you, like you and I talking. You know, it's just like, because I geek out all the time about stuff, right? You know, I enjoy electronics. I think stuff's cool in electronics. But if I turn to my wife or a friend and you know, I start explaining it, they often kind of just say,
"It's not the same."
Okay.
Yeah.
But when you have someone else who's like a kindred spirit, you know, they're like, and that's a lot of our listeners too. They geek out about this stuff, and
of course,
it's just nice, you know. It doesn't happen often, so we got to stick together, man. We got to stick together. It's you find those people, cherish them.
So, did he get the job?
I don't know. Maybe I'll tell you in the future.
Oh, right. Okay. But he would have been way up the list, right? He would have scored big points for bringing his own stuff in. Yeah.
Bringing stuff in, big points with me. I'm not sure if it's for everyone, but definitely big points for me.
But if you bring your own stuff, make sure you can talk about it. I've mentioned this somewhere along the line, but I had one guy bring in his thesis project. And I thought, fine, I'll ask you some questions about it. He couldn't answer one of them. I think he paid someone to do his thesis project for him. It's like... And like, it's right here. I even gave him the copy of the, you know, like I was actually reading through the report thing, and, you know, it had schematics in there, and I was asking him. So I even handed it to him and said, explain that paragraph that you wrote, you know, and he couldn't. And it's like, holy crap, you know. And
was that
because I knew this guy, I smelt bullshit as soon as this guy walked in, you know. You could just smell it.
It's like the opposite of knowing like a kindred spirit. You know exactly when there's a phony, right?
Yeah, exactly. And, yep. Uh-huh. Yes.
Was I talking to you
he
about
came in
that?
as a microcontroller expert. Oh, fine. Okay, an easy question. Name me 2 microcontroller manufacturers, Easy question, right?
Yeah,
No, couldn't
yeah.
even get one,
And he wasn't like nervous and clamming up. And,
Oh,
right?
no. He was just a loser.
Just full of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had talked to someone about that. I was talking to someone at a conference, and he said he wrote papers for someone. Like, he would just do their master's projects for them. He saw it as cash on the side.
I've done that once. I won't do it again. Yeah, I'm serious.
Oh, that's horrible.
I actually designed their circuit for him over lunch. He shouted me lunch, and I designed his, because it was something I enjoyed doing. It was a scope. It was a digital storage scope. So I designed him a PC-based digital storage scope over lunch. I drew the thing on the back of the napkin and the whole lot, and I did some. I told him you have to research this and explain this, and told him what to put in his thesis project. And yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I think this was a little more extensive.
Long lunch, but
yeah, I bet, right?
Yeah, but it was easy stuff for me, and I just enjoyed doing it, so I did it. But yeah, I felt bad about it afterwards. I thought that guy's going to go nowhere. But anyway, that's his problem, So
yeah,
he was not going to make it anyway. If he tried to do it himself, he was just the type that didn't care. So those people just end up
in management,
in management,
in charge of you, Dave.
Yeah, in charge of me.
I mean, that's the problem, right? I mean,
it is. I know.
Yeah, man, that's no offense to the managers out there. I mean, sometimes there's good managers,
some of them are good.
But yeah, I mean, like that kind of thing. They just sit there and they don't do much work for a while, and they start to tell people what to do because they don't know how to do it themselves. I mean, that's crazy. I was so surprised when I talked to this person about it. And he said it was a couple of Indian students who were just looking to get their engineering degree so they could go into management eventually.
Yep.
And man, that's crazy. Who does that?
I know. I don't understand why you do engineering if you're not passionate about it. I don't get it. That was 90. That was, oh man, it was greater than more than 95% of the people I knew. Actually doing their engineering course. Like most of them just didn't care.
Yeah,
I don't know
it's because
why
of
they
money.
were there.
I mean, that's why. I mean, there's an article in here. There's this actually pretty great layout of the Wall Street Journal about different careers and unemployment right now and median earnings and stuff. And if you look at engineering, I mean, it's not bad. I mean, at least I think this is mostly
it's not a bad profession. That's.
I was a little surprised.
That's some of the reason why they do it is because, it's, their parents are happy because engineering, that sounds good. My kid's successful, or they might have friends that do it because they've heard it pays well, or I don't know.
Right.
But I don't know. If you don't have a passion
or
for it,
how about
I
this?
don't know
Petroleum engineering, median earnings, $127,000. That's crazy.
Well, yeah, I'm surprised it's that low.
Yeah.
There's big money in that.
That's median.
Mining out here in Australia, there's huge money. I could be earning $200,000 a year if I want to go, actually wire up stuff in a mine or something like that. There's huge money in it.
Yeah. The crazy thing about that, though, is it's so safety dependent, too. If you have people that are just in it for the money, do you think, do they care about safety at that point? I don't know. Maybe...
no, they take it.
Cut corners. I mean,
no, they take it very seriously.
Okay, well that's good.
Well, in the seismic industry I was in, if you went on those seismic survey boats, right, you earned massive money. You would spend 3 months on the boat, and then you had 3 months off. So you could go, and you'd have enough money to go and tour the world 5 times over during that 3 months. You'd just make so much money.
That's crazy.
And you're not doing anything complex. You're doing something that's really blue collar. Anyone can do it kind of thing.
Yeah, like industrial installations and stuff.
You're just manually
diagrams.
doing stuff, or you're doing TO, really simple wiring.
What's TO?
Type.
What's TO?
Technical officer.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
That's what they're called here.
Okay.
TOs. Yeah, you're right. Technical officer.
Yeah, and I mean it's good money. I'm sure there's some challenges to it, but that's crazy.
Yeah, and a lot of the cases you don't need any qualifications at all to do it. You just rock up and say, "I want to go on a seismic survey boat." Fine, sign here, son. Slap on the back, off you go. Well, they'll put you through training and
Wow.
Away you go. Oh, there's big money if you want to live dangerously. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's not, well, it can be dangerous. Well, it can be dangerous on those boats. It basically, it's a shitty lifestyle. You're in the middle of the North Atlantic, and you're rocking. That boat's rocking at 45 degrees, 24 hours a day, and it's just. Oh yeah.
No, thank you.
It's not a good life. So
yeah,
but wow. Yeah, you're paid well. Same with the mining. It's pretty shit going down in the mines, I can imagine, but yeah, you're paid handsomely for it. So if there's anyone out there that's doing stuff, making an absolute buttload of money that you can embarrass us with, please tell us.
If you were listening to the Amp Hour right now in a mine, let us know. When you get out, of course.
Right.
You're probably not texting us from down there or anything. So,
but you'd need an intrinsically safe MP3 player.
Oh,
because everything in the mine has to be intrinsically safe. You can buy a Fluke 87 meter that's intrinsically safe. I don't know how different it is to the standard one, but it just can't generate a spark to ignite explosive atmospheres and stuff like that. So yes, there's a whole art in intrinsically safe stuff. So
yes, duct tape it.
Right, no, it's a bit more than that. Yeah, and. What's
so this day nerd.
Oh, no, hang on. I want to talk about this. What's this? You found a report in Wired. Who's Pinocchio? The CEO of Pinocchio says.
Yeah, Pinocchio. You could send them a 3D design and they'll laser cut it or 3D print it
that's
for
where
you.
I've heard of them. Okay,
yeah.
Hey, they say that circuit board printing is 24 months away.
That's what they say.
I call bullshit. Again, just like I did with the 3D chip maker.
No,
straight away,
I would say
this is smell bullshit. I don't even have to check into it. I'd
say this is closer. This is, basically what you need to do at this point is have a way to lay down. Oh, sorry, my dog's going crazy.
You've got to lay down the conductive layers, and then you've got to build up the vias. Right,
the vias are really where it would be tough, and then plating those vias, that's the toughest part I see. I mean, you could etch boards right now. It's just all about plating the vias. So
and then making it all withstand 400 plus degree soldering temperatures, right?
So it doesn't delamp. If you have multiple layers too. I think what they were talking about is single layer conductor printing, like a conductive ink pen could do right now. I mean, you could do that right now, right?
Of course you can do that. You can modify the head on a MakerBot to draw the lines with conductive ink.
I think that's probably what he was talking about.
You could have done that 30 you could have done that 30 years ago. Nothing new there.
Yeah.
Well then, it's bullshit. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe
not even worth mentioning.
I thought it was an interesting article. There's a couple. I don't know. 3D printing is definitely getting some more. There was 2 other New York Times articles about 3D printing this week, and so I don't know. It's
how hot do those 3D printer heads get? Because obviously, the heat. I think they're only like a couple of 100 degrees. So soldering temperatures are more than that, or they can be potentially more than that. So really, you've got to use a material and a print head that is, like say double a typical soldering temperature. Otherwise, your thing's just going to fall apart when you try and solder it. So
unless you mandate. Well, then RoHS would never work, right? Because you couldn't do that high temperature silver tin. Not that you'd go straight to RoHS with a printed circuit board or an actual printed circuit board.
It's just not going to work. So let's forget about it. All right.
Why do they call them PCBs instead of ECBs? Wouldn't it be better to call them ECBs, like etched circuit boards?
Nobody ever calls it ECB.
I'm just saying, wouldn't it be a better thing to do? They don't really print it; they etch it.
Well, you etch normal boards, right? As well.
Etch.
You etch away the copper.
Right. Yeah.
Actually, there's a lot of old timers, right? There's a lot of old timers that refuse to call them PCBs. They're printed wiring boards, son. When I was a boy, we only made printed wiring boards. That's their correct name, PWB. And don't you forget it, Sonny.
Doesn't roll off the tongue quite as well. Yeah.
No, but there's a few old timers out there I know who. Yep.
You know who you are.
Start a fight every time you
You're
call them PCB.
You're probably not listening to this.
Right. But yeah. Anyway.
Coming through your gramophone. 23 skidoo.
But apparently, technically, if you want to get into that's the correct term, printed wiring board, I'll concede that possibly that is the original term. And, well, yep.
Things
and it was hijacked.
Things change.
Yeah, things change.
Yeah. How about a little history for those old timers out here? Although you'd have to be really old.
The show's almost over already.
Yeah. Yeah.
No wonder we're all old.
Yeah, right? We just
Time
took an hour
flies.
of your life. One more bit before we before we sign off for our next hour of taking your life next week. 1887. 1887. That's what's crazy to me. It was the first dry cell battery was invented. Can you believe batteries have been around for that long?
Yeah, I can.
Really?
I knew they were around in the 1800s, of course.
Yeah, that's. I always figured they just did it in jars, with like different electric.
They're all Leyden jars or whatever they are.
Right. Yeah.
Or is that a capacitor, a Leyden jar? I can't remember.
I don't know.
I'm going to embarrass myself there. Someone will correct me, I'm sure.
Yeah, someone will. Yeah. But yeah, 1887. These things have been around. So it was Carl Gassner got the first patent of a dry cell. So, and that was the first. And let's see. In 1896, so that was 9 years later, was the first, 1898 was the first D cell. So D cells have been around for that same form factor, have been around for...
Is it exactly the same? Or have they tweaked it? Or have they actually tweaked it?
They say first D cell. I mean, I assume it's the standard D cell.
I guess you've got to say it's a D cell, right? Yeah.
Right.
Awesome. It's amazing.
115 years, man. That's crazy.
For one form factor, that's, and it's still used.
That's staying power right there. Although I'm sure those batteries aren't in good shape. The first ones are probably not in very good shape these days.
Right, no, you wouldn't suspect so.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting bit of nerd history.
Yeah, I like it. And that was on the 15th was the day of the patent, not the 14th. It's this day in Dave's nerd history because today it's only the 14th here.
Right. No, right. What is it here? It's the 15th, is it?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. 15th.
November?
Yeah, November 2011, right?
Yeah.
I'm with it.
You were out of it.
Sorry, I'm concentrating on my throbbing thumb.
Oh.
Poor Diddums.
All right.
Got to get some sympathy from someone. Come on.
You won't. Maybe you will next week. I don't know. Not for me. I wanted to remind people that we have an RSS feed. I don't know if people knew this. It is the best way to get a hold of the fact that we have a new post up, as opposed to I'm always furiously tweeting and Dave's always saying, just leave it go. So
well, I automatically tweet it. What are you talking about?
I know. I'm going to side with Dave.
You want me to retweet it like 10 times so that people,
not 10
just
times,
in case
just
they're different
once, please.
time zone.
Yeah.
Anyways. That's spamming. If you do it more
it's
than
not
once,
spamming.
it's spamming.
If you do it once, do it one extra time, you're fine. If people do it for us too, that'd be great.
But then you start on that slippery slope. I'll just do it 2 extra times.
I'll just do it 7,000 times, one day in an hour. Cialis.
Unbelievable.
So we have an RSS feed. We also have a Google Plus page if you're so inclined. They just opened those up for businesses. We used to have one and it got shut down.
Have we got a Facebook page?
We have a Facebook page, we have a Google Plus page, and we have a bunch of people who passively follow us because we don't do much the rest of the week. So.
No, because we don't do anything on those channels as the Amp Hour because we have our own channels. So where we tweet furiously all day, every day.
Yeah, sure, Dave.
I don't know. I'm up to like a couple of thousand tweets or something.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It's getting up there.
I'll follow you. You're not too
bad. I follow you too. I see you popping up.
All right. Yeah. Well, if people want to follow us, Dave is EEV blog. I am Chris_Gamble. And
why? Because you couldn't get Chris Gamble without the underscore?
I have both. It just we've talked about that before.
You're just an underscore man.
Yeah. I like space.
All right.
Need my space. All right, guys.
Was just Gamble on its own taken? Because Gamble is not
so taken. It's a Scottish name. It's very Scottish.
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, it's very right. So it's okay. I thought it was a bit more obscure.
It is if you're not Scottish.
Right. Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
All right.
So Scottish.
Well, that's all we got.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you next week.
See ya. Son of a bitch, this thumb hurts.
All right. You baby.